Hey guys, subscribe for daily knife content, and if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for links to some great online retailers. There's also individual links for knives that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review slash knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Protech Newport automatic knife. Very interesting. This knife was sent to me by Troy Jones, _ Troy Jones Y on Instagram. Please give him a follow. It's because of people like him that I'm able to bring you guys daily knife content. It's also because of my generous patrons. Thanks so much for supporting me right now. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, there's a link right down in the description. And please follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of this guy. Overall length of the Protech Newport. This is not a big knife. Length coming in at about 7 inches overall. Blade length is definitely under 3 inches. If I can raise that up just a little bit so let you guys see that. Yeah, about 2.9 inches is what I'm getting there. And about 2.8 inches of cutting edge. So, nice size for a lot of people. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons up against the Ontario Rat Model 1 and Rat Model 2. You guys can see there. Very similar in overall size to the Rat 2. And honestly, there's a little bit more handle room. So if you enjoy the Rat 2, I think you'll probably enjoy the length and hand positions on this guy. Up against the Spyderco PM2 and Para 3 is definitely shorter than both of these guys. And last but not least, we'll do the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and its little brother, the Benchmade Mini Griptilian. Mini Griptilian is a little bit shorter than the Newports, but you can see here it's definitely, you know, this guy's still a little bit more robust. This guy's a little bit more narrow. All right, let's go ahead and, well, I would do a hardware check for you guys, but this is a hex head, which truthfully, I have. I just don't have it's not readily, it's over in the little drawer thing over there. This is using, let's see here, yeah, hex on the body. And then we've got some T6 screws on the pocket clip. It is pretty minimal on the hardware. I can see 1, 2, and 3, right? And those go through to the other side. Then you have the pivot, which is just on, the head's just on one side. And then you have the T6 screws. It's going to be pretty minimal. You can still check out my tools down in the description if you want to. But yeah, pretty minimal hardware, and I've never had an issue adjusting Protech knives. I kind of wish they'd use Torx, but okay. I mean, this is still a common head. It's easy to get in a bit set, and it's easy to adjust, so I don't really have a problem with that. Let's go ahead and do carry profile up against the Spyderco Para 3. You can see here it's actually a little bit thinner than the Spyderco Para 3 in terms of thickness. Let's do length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. You can see here, this is just a lean guy. Not going to be difficult to carry. It's not super thick. It's actually shorter than Para 3. This guy, I have no problem carrying this guy on a day-to-day basis. This guy's just not going to be an issue. It's going to be easy to carry. Let's go ahead and get a measurement of blade stock thickness on this guy real quick. Protech seems to do a pretty good job. They hover around the 115,000th mark up to about the 125 or 130,000th mark. This guy's even thinner. Look at this. Ooh, that's a thin blade stock. That's good, though. That's, I mean, on a knife of this size, it really doesn't need to be thicker than that, or it's going to make it inconvenient day to day. Weight, this is aluminum, and let you guys take a look at the inside. No milling or anything, not that it needs it, but this is an aluminum frame, and then we have a very thin blade stock here. Yeah, this guy comes in at 2.15 ounces. I'm going to say, as far as EDC requirements go in the community, or at least how most people define a good, you know, compact, lightweight EDC knife, this is just going to work for a lot of people. This is an automatic knife or switchblade, definitely, so it's going to be illegal for some people. And, you know, I think it's not Cali legal, because if it's an auto, it's got to be under 2. Is that right? Is it under 2 inches for California? But for a lot of people who can carry and enjoy automatic knives, oh my goodness, yes, this is absolutely a wonderful overall EDC package. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and talk about the action here real quick. This is a Protech automatic. You guys know my thoughts on Protech. They make the best side-opening automatic knives in the world, and this is a USA-made knife. By the way, this will be linked right down in the description. There are a lot of different colors for the Protech Newport. Just a quick glance, I saw one that was all blacked out, saw this blue one, saw a purple one, and I saw one with black scales and a satin blade. And I think they've got quite a few more. So I'll let you guys check these out if you want to. And then also Protech knives in general will be listed right down below so you can see what else I've got going on. Action. Yeah, it's what you'd expect. It fires hard. It feels good. It's so funny that they can get so much power out of such a thin little, almost needle-like blade. You know, it really does fire hard and it's satisfying. The button is also mostly recessed. It kind of comes to a peak, and the peak just ever so slightly is not totally flush. And that's intentional, right? Am I worried that it's actually going to fire in my pocket? No, I've literally never had that happen. The button's going to be up against my leg. It's recessed enough, right? But it's easy to find. And when you push it, you know, the button does exactly what you think it's going to do. You push it and the blade's going to deploy. It deploys quickly, reliably, and with quite a bit of power. And it feels good and it sounds good too. It's fun. I like it. Handle. So there's not something that I appreciate with handle ergonomics is not being forced to put my hands in any particular spot. This is a small knife that actually allows you to move around just a little bit. So I appreciate that. You can get a full grip on this guy. Not that I really need it, but you can and it's comfortable. The edges are nicely knocked down, right? It is going to be kind of slippery. This is that Type 3 hardcoat anodization. It's a little bit chalky, but your squeeze is going to determine whether or not you drop it, right? There's not really anything else locking you in. Considering the environment that I would assume people would use this knife in, which is just general day-to-day, right? I think you're going to be okay. But if you do get into kind of a slippery environment, this is one you might, just make sure your grip's real good. Because there's not a lot that's locking you in. This little hump right here, a little bit. Outside of that, no, there's no texturing or anything like that. So yeah. The blade, we have a drop point, very needle-like drop point blade that's got a flat that carries out about 60% the length of the blade. This part here is more satin finish, and then we have a nice tumble. So you do get that nice little two-tone effect. Looks good. Protech USA. I love the Protech logo. It says Protech USA, and on the other side we have a simple S35VN. Generally, we see 154cm, which I'm perfectly okay with, but I think a lot of people will enjoy seeing S35VN on this guy. That's great. Gonna get a little bit more toughness. Well, on the toughness, I'm not really sure on it. You're definitely going to get better edge retention, and it is, this is still a stainless knife, and it is, as far as this composition goes, S35VN is tough. It's going to be a little bit harder to sharpen than 154cm, but I think most people, would appreciate, honestly, I'm indifferent. 154cm is, and CPM 154 are my favorite steels of all time, followed a close second by S35VN, and honestly now, probably Spy 27 and S45VN, which are very, very close, right? But yeah, this is great. Not going to be too difficult to sharpen, and it'll make people feel a little bit better about paying what they're asking for this guy, which is really not all that bad. We'll talk about that here in a second. The blade does get down to a reasonably thin edge. There's not a lot of room to drop, but it is, it's not super thick to begin with. Edge is up here nicely knocked down. It's not going to be sharp anywhere but the cutting edge, which is how it should be. The tip is incredibly needle-like, and you can see there, yeah. Don't go stabbing into stuff and prying around. That's not a good idea. As far as the blade goes, yeah, I mean, you've got some belly. I mean, it's gonna do your general EDC tasks. It's gonna do it well. It's also gonna be easy to sharpen. The blade looks even on both sides. We don't have any wonkiness in the final cutting bevel. It looks good. Good job, Protech. Just looks nice. It's what I expect from Protech, and they consistently deliver. I love that they don't show the screws on the show side of this. It just looks classy AF. It really does, right? You can see the screws on the other side, but no big deal. The back here comes to a seam. I kind of like it when they do at least a faux backspacer, or honestly, I'd really like to see them put standoffs or something in it, or an actual backspacer, but that's okay. The way that they do this is fine. As long as these seams meet up perfectly, which they always do, then there's not an issue here, right? So yeah, that's good. The pocket clip it's a good clip by itself. It's just too big. This is way too big. Right here. That's the most clip we need on this guy. They recess the screws, and they actually do they sink this into the, yeah, it is sunk into the aluminum, which is excellent. This part of the clip right here is perfection. But it should have swooped down. And kind of like, here, let me get my, this guy. This clip on the Mini Crooked River is about the perfect size even for a knife like this that's much larger. We have the Newport, which is substantially smaller and has double the length of clip. It just doesn't need to have that much clip. I'm not really sure why it's like that. So when you're gripping this guy, you're definitely feeling the clip because it's so far up here, right? And there's this duck bill on the end. It's fine. In and out of the pocket, it works just fine. That's the one bothersome thing with this knife. It really just doesn't need to be any further than that. But this is a pocket clip that it's the same pocket clip they use on a lot of models, and I imagine they used it because it was easy, right? I mean, to make a specific clip for the Newport probably would have cost a little bit more money. But yeah, that's the clip itself is fine. It makes way more sense on a lot of the larger models that Protech puts out, but on this guy, it just doesn't make sense. Right? It would have looked better, and it would have been way more comfortable, right? It does carry deep, right? And the clip is done well. Good retention, all that. In and out of the pocket's fine. It's just too big. Centering on this guy. Dead on. Absolutely. And how about blade play? Little tiny bit of side to side in its current state. I wonder, we'll do this on camera. I like being honest and straightforward about stuff like this. Let me get out my tools real quick, find the right head. I wonder if we give that just a teeny tiny little bit of a turn and fix that. I think this is going to be the guy right here. Sorry. The rustling sound is me getting my tools. Progress is being made. Alright, can we get that in there? Oh, we're a little bit too big. Sorry. At this point, the people who are watching are invested, right? You guys are, if you're still watching right now at the 11-minute and 30-second mark, you're likely going to finish this. So you're probably here for the end result, right? That one's going to be too small. I just didn't expect... here's the thing, guys. When I got it, there was no blade play, and I've been flipping it, I've been firing it like crazy. And that'll happen. That doesn't mean there's a flaw with it. It just means that the pivot is backed out a little bit because of the repeated impacts. I think this is the one right here. I sure hope it is. Seems like it's a little bit small. Nope, that's the right one. I think I can give this just a little bit of a turn and then pull the head back out. There we go. That's all it needed. You have to take my word for it. I'm sure people are like, how do we know? How do we know? We can't feel it. Well, you don't know. That's the thing. There's a lot of stuff, when you're watching a YouTube video, you really just have to take the word of the person who's delivering the information. But yeah, no, I'm not getting blade play now. And it's still firing just as hard, right? You see when you hold the button down, if it goes all the way to the back, you got good action. And then when it locks out, if there's no blade play, then you're good to go. What's the remedy for that? Back the pivot out and put some blue Loctite on there. It's just not a lot of people are like, the pivot should never back out, it should never have blade play, and it should never come off center. That's an unrealistic expectation for something that, abides by the laws of the universe, the finite universe that we live in, right? Yeah, things are going to degrade over time. Things are going to come loose, right? We have to accept that we are a part of a physical universe. where moving parts sort of, not only defeat themselves over time, but they also the way that this is made essentially. Just put some blue Loctite in it. It's fine. Don't use red Loctite. That's a bad idea. But blue Loctite will be fine. It'll extend the life of the pivots. You'll go months without having to reapply it. And when you do, it takes 30 seconds. Anyways, so what's the final conclusion here? This is a really good knife. I'm telling you guys right now, this knife comes in at about 160, 165 bucks, something like that. I think it's like 161.97 the last time I checked. Yeah, it's a US-made auto with great fit and finish. Functionally, these things are excellent. Very good materials, very lightweight, excellent EDC profile. For those of you who really obsess over, I want a certain amount of cutting edge, but I just don't want the thing to be ultra heavy, and I'm just going to try to accomplish simple tasks. Yeah, here you go. This is great. This is like Protech's 940. It's honestly what it makes me think of. The pocket clip is an enigma. It doesn't need to be that long. That's the biggest complaint that I have with this. It almost looks silly, right? This looks like a, when people, I'm about to make some people mad. Whenever whatever it is I'm doing and I hear, and I look down the street, there's some guy in it's just a Honda Civic. It's a plain Honda Civic. Nothing's been changed except the spoiler. He's got a freaking hang glider hanging off the back of it, right? That's what it makes me think of. It's just a big, unnecessary spoiler on a Honda Civic. Why do you guys do that? Why do you Honda Civic guys do that? I'm making fun of people. Sorry. If that brings you joy, there's no reason. You don't have to listen to me, right? But no, the pocket clip is functional. It just needs to be shorter. Other than that, I think this is great. Can I recommend it for the price? Yeah, absolutely. If you like bigger, chunkier knives, right, and you don't like automatic knives, well, obviously this isn't going to be your thing. But yeah, if you can legally carry an automatic knife and you're looking for a simple, classy, reliable EDC automatic knife, yeah, the Protech Newport is excellent. And I think it's a bonus you get S35VN in this guy. I think that's going to be pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. Thank you so much. Once again, let me plug his Instagram. Check out _TroyJonesY on Instagram. Thanks so much for sending this in. Guys, check this out and check out Protech Knives right down in the description. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.